Welcome to the Pros Network. I'm here with catcher and our top performer on our team, Nashville Sounds. Our catcher, Beau Taylor. He came up from Midland. I was in Midland with him, so I got to see how he played there. He was crushing it there, and we were in extended for a little bit of time, so I got to build a relationship with him and see how he's a leader on the field and off the field. And now he's here and he's crushing it. He's batting before me and he's taking up all the RBIs, and I'm upset about that. But anyways, he's doing real well, and we're gonna get in a little interview right now. Let me change the camera angle. So we're back here at the Pros Network, and again we're here with Beau Taylor. How you doing, Beau?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Where are you from?
Rockledge, Florida.
Are you gonna go home during the All-Star break?
Yes.
What do you got planned for the All-Star break?
As soon as I get off the plane, drive home, unload my stuff, and going straight to the beach.
Going to the beach.
Yeah.
What do you think about your year so far?
I feel like it's going good. Just trying to stay consistent and keeping the same routine that I'm having, and trying to just not get too high, not get too low. Just pretty even keel the whole entire time.
A lot of kids may want to be, you know, just like you, a professional baseball player, and there's a lot that look up to be a catcher. What are some advice that you could give to a young player who wants to be a catcher and wants to become better at catching?
It's the same thing pretty much with every single position in baseball, but I mean you always have to keep working on it. Catching, it's the hardest spot on the field, because you have to worry about so many different things. You can't just be worrying about yourself, because you have to build a relationship with the pitchers, even the rest of the teammates. I mean, you got to know everything and pretty much about everybody. But practicing off of pitching machines, blocking, flexibility, all that comes into factor for being a good catcher, and making sure you're staying healthy and hydrating. Hydrating's huge.
So on a given day, can you take us through what you do to prepare so that a kid can get an insight on how he can become better? And
first thing I do before the game is, of course, I go over the scouting report and stuff, but catching wise, I get out 40 minutes before the game, do a couple of sprints. I'm stretching a lot, tons of stretching, full body, legs, everything, making sure your groin's stretched. And then I have help from another catcher or coach. We'll do individual drills with me, like one-hand drills, just receiving the ball, blocking the ball, and some days transfers on throwing the ball down to second.
And so how do you lead the way you do? How do you help pitchers or manage pitchers? What's your secret to that? Because I know you do it very well. You have these connections with these pitchers better than anyone I've ever seen. And so I just want to know, how do you do that so that a kid can get that insight and he can become better?
I do my best to try to talk to every single pitcher and try to figure them out first, because there's a lot of guys you kind of got to get in their butt a little bit to get them back in the game. Some guys got to calm down. Sometimes got to be positive with them, and it takes a little bit, but it's fun talking with the pitchers. All of them they're all different characters. I mean, but trying to figure them out individually, and then going out there and knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, knowing their trigger points on what they need to get back in the game. If they're throwing a ball, to get them back into throwing strikes. If you go out, you pretty much talk to them hey, do this, do this. That's one of the hardest things about catching, is trying to figure out your pitcher, but it's something you got to consistently keep doing.
That's awesome. So let's flip on the other side, hitting-wise. What's your tips? Because I know you're a very offensive hitter, offensive catcher. Probably one of the best catchers I've ever seen as far as hitting. So I want to know, what's your philosophy on hitting? What do you, how did you improve to become the hitter that you are today?
I mean, tons of practice, you know that. Tons every single day, inside and out, in the cage, doing your routine, finding your routine and what actually works for you, because there's different things that work for certain people that may not work for me. But going in every single day with the right mindset that you got to find out your game. I know I'm not a home run hitter. I would like to hit home runs, but it's more barreling balls up, having quality at bats. And the main thing I do is I tell myself to just see it, just see the ball. Try not to worry about mechanics or anything, and see it as good as possible, as long in the zone as I can, and swing hard and hope I hit it. That's the big thing that I try to do, and not give away at bats. Say if you don't feel good that day, or it's like so you have a tough sky and it's kind of hard to see, or the pitcher is like really good, just try not to give up that at bat. Just stay in there and battle.
That's awesome. How do you deal with failure on, how do you deal with going through a slump? How do you deal with, maybe having a few throwing errors or errors in the game? How do you deal with that? Like, how do you get yourself back on track mentally?
I just tell myself I've done it before. Like if I'm struggling, I kind of go back to my good swings. I'll like watch videos of my good swings or good throws down to second. I'll watch that and I know that I can do it, and it's right there. It's just all these ups and downs in baseball, and the big thing, yeah, you've been there, you've done it, you've done good. We're here for a reason, and you can't think too much about it. Try not to think.
That's awesome. That's good advice. I have a few more things. So I do a live auction, and you already know I sell players merchandise, used merchandise. Do you have anything that you can give us that maybe someone can bid on and buy in the next auction?
I do. I have a Louisville Slugger I-13 bat. I got for you guys.
Is it broken or is it
brand new?
Brand new. Oh, brand
Fresh
new.
out the wrapper.
And so the reason why we do this is because nearly 30% of all U.S. public high schools will eliminate sports programs, and we don't want that to happen. So thank you for joining in and helping with this auction and helping young individuals improve in their performance so they can one day be like you. So I appreciate that. We got a few more questions. So peanut butter or chocolate chip cookies?
I'll do chocolate chip.
M&M or Starburst?
Starburst.
What
kind of M&Ms though? The peanut.
The peanut.
I'll take the peanut M&Ms.
Peanut. Okay. Sweet tea or non-sweet tea?
Neither.
Coffee or Red Bull?
Red Bull.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.